So the last and hopefully last segment is going to be a very brief mention on commuter services because we're going to come up at some point. So commuter rail, it's still necessary. The point of interregional routes would be to prove the concept of commuter rail and be express services for people further out when/if we get commuter rail. We'll get into this a little bit more, but I could also make my own video on this at some point or a separate video. Like, I'm aware this map exists or somebody made it. I don't hate it, but it comes with a lot of like the other premises of Atlanta Transit, which is how do we do more MARTA without MARTA? And to put it bluntly, the scale of this map here and the MARTA map are not to the same scale. Like that's how bad this like problem is of like not even like acknowledging that MARTA exists. Like just going over to the next page where I'm like having my issues with it. Like Tucker should be is was voted on to be a green line extension at some points back in the 70s. This was decided. Um, it's not this bendy. Like it doesn't go up and then out like this. It does kind of go in an arc shape, but this map is so not even to scale with like Marta and the rest of this that it's like, yeah, it's I'd have to do this like wiggly little line to make it work. Um, and then like again, same thing. This could just be a gold line extension. This also, I guess, could be a gold line extension down to Jonesboro's Justice Center, which would basically take out that line. These two lines don't need to be built because they should just be MARTA lines. Sending the red line out would reduce some of the need for these lines down here. This orange line, which would be up to the battery, is already, except for the parts of the battery in Cumberland Mall, could already be built with it because it's within the MARTA boundary. To put it bluntly, these proposals don't solve any of like MARTA's problems. Like building a diesel powered MARTA is not a solution to like MARTA's board being appointed and it not really giving a crap about like doing its job or making sure MARTA's run well. It's not going to deal with like the fact that like MARTA doesn't really have the money to expand and it doesn't really want to because it doesn't need to because no one's going to throw someone out of office over it. And like I said, board's not elected. I'm not sorry. No one cares how MARTA is run or how well it's run. And no one on here, no one listening to this, me included, is going to vote against your councilman or your commissioner over how well MARTA's run. It's also addicted to consultants, which they use to justify not building any rail extensions, which they then turn around and put what little money they have into vanity projects because who really cares about people stuck on the bus or people who want the like train to go somewhere more useful? Because frankly, again, none of us are going to vote against our county commissioner or city councilman over how poorly MARTA's run. I think it's why the board needs to be elected directly so we can like actually like hold the people running the thing to account, which is kind of why the rail services should also be run uh, kind of the same way at the statewide level. It should be elected, not appointed, because if it's appointed, no one's going to care about it. It's not the public won't. Because like questions with this, like with ATL trains map, is how does it deal with expansion when the federal money runs out? Like, how are we going to hold an appointed board accountable if we're not going to like deal with like the fundamental problem of MARTA, which is it is run by an appointed board um, that really doesn't care about running things well, and it doesn't have the money to because the federal money ran out, and it doesn't want to raise taxes or, frankly, be on the hook for anything more complicated than did we just make a nice fancy bus route? Um, Also, will each county have to opt in or out individually, like we did with MARTA? How are we going to deal with like the after effects of like white flights, which is shaped the suburbs a lot? Because even if I completely grant that 100% of the racism is gone, um, people in the suburbs want their stability to the point of stagnation, and they will fight like hell to keep that and not want a commuter rail service because it will threaten their stability and stagnation. Like even if you fully take the racial history out of it, that is still in effect. That is still something you're going to have to deal with. That is an after effect of it. And I'm going to say it's a good idea. It does just need a proof of concept. It needs to have like something that can show that yes, trains can work. Trains aren't going to like threaten your way of life because for some reason we've convinced ourselves that having a train is a threat to your existence for some reason. Um, and again, even if the like white flight and how it's changed the like political landscape in some like suburban cities across this isn't even just a southern thing, this is across the whole US. Um, and this is like kept Cobb and Gwinnett specifically out of MARTA. Um, the general localism and classism of these areas also will be like a thing that has like kind of also prevailed as like the after effects of white flight that will like keep these areas from wanting to join in. So a good first step would be to have like longer distance routes that are like run by Amtrak that are contracted with the state that the state is on the hook for to get them running to show them that hey these things aren't terrible, they're not going to like destroy your like town or whatever, um, and that they can be useful for you as like a local resident, and you the county are not on the hook for it. Like again, proof of concept is needed before we can even get to here because again, even as me as someone who lives within a MARTA county, like why should I vote for this? Like again, if we're not going to expand MARTA, if we're not going to like, if you're not going to give me anything, like why am I going to vote for this? Like why do I care if like the outer bits of DeKalb County or Rockdale County have transit services? Like again, like MARTA Green Line should be going out to Tucker. That would make more sense for us because it'd still be within like general 250 MARTA fare. So again, there's like issues with a lot of this that aren't really ever thought through when it comes to like proposing stuff like this. And I'm trying to like say like, yeah, we need to like think about this as like together, but also separately, and basically as more of a coherent system rather than just like throwing up a map and just not caring about it. Because like the point of like again the interregional routes is not just like it's commuter service for Atlanta, but it's also like for people just outside of the metro who are in like more rural areas, so like have them be able to get between the like neighboring towns or up to Chattanooga so they can go on the air like fly out, or people up near and like up near LEJ having some capacity to like get into Atlanta to without their car if they don't have a car. For people to get up there and not have to drive and clog up their roads during tourist season, like stuff like that, or people at like West Georgia University being able to get like to and from Atlanta or to and from their suburban town without having to like again clog up the highways. It's trying to be more of a balancing act because again, like you could overlay a commuter rail network on this and it still would be work. You'd have to restructure it a little bit. It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Thank you for listening. This has been a clip of a much longer video. The longer video is somewhere on the channel. And just thank you for listening to this shortened clip from a, again, much longer video. Sharing my thoughts. Just thank you. And Discord link somewhere, probably below me. Comments if you want to complain. And yeah. Anyway, just thank you for listening to what I got to say.